games. There's still twists and turns. There's still going to be a situation. Who knows? Have your Aguero moment. Could be a Aguero moment at the Etihad, or it could be an Aguero moment at Selhurst Park. This could go to the last day. So before you watch side strains, don't talk about next season. We've got 3 more games. And then all of a sudden, if it goes away, you go, ah!
We need that. We want that.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. There will be a twist. There will be a twist. If anyone thinks that Burnley are going to come and just roll over and die and we're just going to batter them, think again, because we ain't really battered any team on a consistent.
Is Burnley the twist for you lot then?
And see, someone said to me, and I had to agree with him. Sometimes when teams are relegated, they're more dangerous when they're fighting.
Yeah, because they might never kick a Premier League ball again.
Because when they're relegated, they tend to play with freedom and more confidence because they know
their reality.
So it's like it's a game of football. It's like going over the park where you with the boys after school or after college or after work, and you could pick up 2 teams and you just like do your thing, you know. So Burnley's going to come to the Emirates. They might not be at the Emirates for another 2-3 years, so they're going to come there. They're going to make it awkward. They're going to play with a bit of freedom. They're going to want to attack when they can. So it's one of them games where if you're not on it and you lose your concentration and you take it for granted, you could get stung.
We can't afford that. We've had a week.
You know, it could be 0-0 going into the second half. Going into the second half, 0-0, 65th minute.
I'm not trying
to. Then it starts thinking, come on, you know. So listen. On the other end, we could just steamroll them and blow them away. I don't think that's going to happen, but it could. I think it's going to the last game. Personally, I think it's going down to Crystal Palace.
I think the thing about it is that Crystal Palace don't travel away from home these days. And
they hold both clubs' destinies in their hands, really, Palace.
I mean, Oliver Glasner said that his pay slip said Crystal Palace. That's right. That's fine. But the fact is that we can guarantee that I think Man City, as long as Doku's fit, because Doku seems to be their main man there, he's the only one who can unlock packed defences, and he's just a joy to watch if you're a neutral, because he's finally got something that he never had in the last season, the season before, end products, and so I think they'll win, and then we got to do our job against Burnley before we even concentrate on the Bournemouth game, and of course not only a Man City playing Bournemouth away, Spurs are going to Chelsea. They win there every year. Oh no, they don't. They've only won once. They've only won twice in 30.
Ariola's last game against City at their place and Glasgow. But
the situation is that you may say that it's going to be a great game of football between Man City and Bournemouth, where both of them are going to attack, where whoever makes the less defensive mistakes and whoever's got the best strike force.
Don't forget, City got the FA Cup final as well.
You know what? That's a game that could be 4-4, 4-3, or 5-4, because both of them are going to want to play football.
It's the last game, but it's Ariola's last game there, isn't it? So I hope they make it a circle. Bournemouth are horrible to go to anyways.
And if Man City get the result, and because I think we're going to beat Burnley, then we've got to go to Glasner's last game. You know what I mean?
Let's hope they rest players.
Selhurst Park could be rocking. It always is. That.
Yeah. You know what happens at Selhurst Park? There's 3 fans for every seat. You know that thing, Julie.
Yeah, I've been to
I'm sure. You know that you've been hiding in my cardigan to get a seat with me at Crystal Palace away. I'm sure I had to pay your $5 to get back through the turnstiles.
It is one of them grounds, to be fair.
Hey, talking to Jack Ramsey, Jack Ramsey, remember what you said to me on private? I'm going to be a very well-fed man. Well-fed man.
You don't want to lie to Kenny, man. He might do you, man.
No. Jack's already promised me. He's already said that because hopefully he'll be going to go. Well, he's going to be there. and we'll meet up. Because I always see a guy.
Word, Jack, man.
Yes, I always see a guy. Two Palace fans I've got to meet now. I always meet Diego, who's really been great to me. He's a great Palace fan. We're really good mates.
Big him
and
up.
Jack as well. So big up to both of them. But yeah, the thing with football is that, you know, that's what's so extraordinary and so sad is that, do you remember the FA Cup final used to be the biggest game in the football in Canada that the whole country stopped? Yeah. Well, two massive teams are playing the FA Cup final and no one's talking about it.
No one.
Normally the week of the FA Cup final, no, it's like the whole country stops in anticipation. But because of the might of the Premier League, we're all talking about Man City versus Crystal Palace. We're not talking. And
you just said it. You said Bournemouth as well before you mentioned the FA Cup final. Yeah.
Exactly. So, what has happened to this great competition? The competition where we are the record winners. Yeah. What's happened to me? What's happened to this great competition? I mean, it's a crying shame that we've allowed this to happen. Football fans have allowed this to happen. We should hold our clubs to account. We should, you know, by turn up to the FA Cup, we should, you know, turn up in our thousands. You know, it's sad what's happened.
It was a day in the calendar, man, wasn't it? FA Cup final day. That's what it was.
Yeah, you used to be the only live game.
You got up in the morning. You see them go to the hotel. You see them on the bus. You see them here. You see them walk the pitch. It was a whole day.
It's like have to play as well.
Now
the team have to play, DG. Yeah. You know, we used to have on BBC on the BBC and ITV. You used to have on ITV. You used to have what's it? Well, you used to have like, I don't know. You used to have like a variety sort of thing, and then you used to on BBC One. You said FA Cup final mastermind. Then you had the FA Cup final, you know, on the buses.
You had to listen to their FA Cup song on top of the pops.
Oh, yeah. They're great singers, by the way. They're really good singers. Really great singers.
You had all that. It was great. It was a whole day. Even if you didn't like football, people watched it.
Exactly.
It was a whole day. The FA Cup died for me when they had the semi-finals at Wembley.
Exactly.
That's the FA Cup died.
DG, no word of a lie, right? Because I know before interactive TV, I swear to God, 40 million people used to watch the FA Cup final. It used to be spread between ITV and BBC. It doesn't matter whether you support Arsenal or Man United, whoever's playing.
It's a big day in English football or English society, based on what you're saying.
You know, Americans talk about their Super Bowl. Yeah, that was our FA Cup.
That's how it was. Yeah, it was a whole day.
That's it. That was
FA Cup. People had barbecues. People had people round. You had like FA Cup. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Now it's just a game in the calendar.
It's a game there. It's sad.
Exactly.
It's a sad indictment of our game.
Especially the World Cup year, and it's got to be played further forward.
You think about it. Every country. Have you noticed that in Italy they've copied what we do in England, where they have their cup final at a neutral ground, and it's basically 50-50. In Germany they do the same thing. In Holland they do the same thing. Although in France they do the same thing. They've copied our format and they've turned it into a massive day. And here's us treating it like another game, allowing the Premier League to bastardise this competition. The FA Cup final should be the last game of the calendar.
That's it. Like you said, it's the Premier League. You start bringing in TV rights. You mentioned BBC and ITV. I remember in my young years when that was on the Champions League was on ITV and all of those kind of things.
Yeah, that's right.
That's where the TV things have kind of fucked it up and made it less accessible.
The Champions League now being a 5 o'clock kickoff is
madness.
Yeah.
Champions League's always 8 o'clock, something like that. It's always like,
7:45 earliest.
7:45.
The final used to always be on a Wednesday until they wanted to get more children into the game.
Yeah.
But I agree.
It's on the weekends now.
I agree with you, Kenny. The FA Cup should be the very last game of the season. All the league games should be played, and then the last game of the season should be FA Cup, and then the curtain comes down on the football season. That's what I think. Because they have the Charity Shield as the curtain raiser, but they have the FA Cup. They have the FA Cup Do you know what I mean? So,
I mean, Jack's right. Sir Alex Ferguson and his greed, Sir Alex Ferguson, Martin Edwards, and all that, and Gill, by pulling Man United out of the 2000 FA Cup, well as the holders, they didn't help the situation either.
No. I honestly believe
2000 there was a period it kind of died as well, man.
Semi-finals at Wembley, just
up till we won it last again. Well, our first one, 2014.
The FA, I think the FA are just a bunch of, bunch of like crooks. They're thieves. They've got no nuts.
All of them
got
are. FA Cup people, Prem people, all of that.
An FA Cup semi-final, can you imagine if Man United played Liverpool? Normally, it would be at Goodison Park or the Etihad, because both sets of fans don't have to travel. Arsenal versus Tottenham. I can understand Arsenal versus Tottenham being at Wembley because of the demand.
Be at the London Stadium, wouldn't it?
But now, because we've now got the London Stadium, they don't have to have it. Arsenal West Ham can either be the Emirates or the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. You know what I mean?
But that's like even England games. They don't really tour the country that much. Like it's really just Wembley, and people are out of pocket.
We need to sort of we need to be a force of change, because at the end of the day, if we stop going to these games, then they're going to take notice, because the TV companies want a camera shot of crowds. That's what sells. It's not the football.
Yeah, but Kenny, fans won't be united for every if us three say we're not going, 300 people are going to fight for those tickets. Like we're gone.
Exactly, yeah, and you're 100% right, but it was very hard for us to sell the Premier League during lockdown when there was no crowd shots. It was a hard sell, wasn't it? I mean, we got football cheap then. We got every game was live because they couldn't really sell it to us because of
They need to do something. They need to do something to get the FA Cup more alive, to have something more to play for. I mean, if by winning the FA Cup you qualified for the Champions League, teams start taking it a little bit more serious.
Yeah, that's a mad priority.
That's the mad priority. That's the sort of levels to bring that FA Cup back. What you've got to do, it's got to be kind of that level. But if you do that for our domestic cup, then you've got to do it for the domestic cups in Italy, in Spain, and all of that. But they can do it. They can do it. All this nonsense that if you finish sixth because it works out who's one's, I think if we win the European Cup and Aston Villa win, sixth place qualifier.
Big up you for being able to work that out. I gave up trying to understand the algebra.
Yeah, what about Hearts though?
It's crazy. But you can. It's like Hearts, yeah. But what I'm trying to say, you can win an FA Cup and you get put in the Europa League, but you can finish sixth and qualify for the Champions League.
No, but that's the thing. These clubs would rather, our fans and that wouldn't, but clubs would rather qualify for competitions rather than actually win it because of the money and all that kind of
100%. Yeah, but you look at Hearts. There's basically a 6-pointer where Hearts are a point above Celtic. It's the last game of the season
history
in Scotland, where if Hearts get a draw, they're champions. If they win, they're champions. If Celtic win, they're champions. Now, you look at someone like Hearts. It's very rare that a team outside Rangers and Celtic win the Premiership. Their reward for winning the Premiership is to go into the Champions League qualifiers, whilst Aston Villa, who may win the Europa League, will get straight in the group stages. The team that finishes sixth.
That comes back to the model of the Premier League versus the Scottish League, which affected them.
Yeah, team that finishes, sixth may be able to get into like
which is Bournemouth
now. Bournemouth.
I'm not taking nothing away from Bournemouth. I'd love to see.
I'm not saying away from Bournemouth, but over 38 games, over 36 games in Scotland, it's Hearts have done the impossible, and they're not going to get a reward for it. They're not going to get enough money because Scottish they're not going to get in the Champions League.
But you go right down the league, so Kenny. Look at York City and the other team. Was it Rochdale? Both had over 100 points and only one went up.
Oh, that was madness.
Exactly. And look at Millwall. Look at Millwall. I think they missed out on automatic promotion by what? 1 point, 2 points? Goal? I can't remember now. It might have even been 2 points. And then Hull finished just outside the playoffs, and they're going to Wembley, and Millwall have been knocked out. I think I'm a great believer that if you finish third, you should automatically go through to the final, and then the teams below you play to see who you meet.
I hear that.
Yeah, And definitely these lower leagues now, you've got to have 2 up, 3 up, 3 down. I'm sorry, you can't have teams fighting for their lives financially. You know, and we tend to forget that because we support Arsenal, there are fans just as passionate about their lower league teams as we are about Arsenal. You know, there's passionate fans down in those in those lower leagues, non-leagues, and all that, just like we're passionate. And I just think it's mad that you can get over 100 points and not go up into the next league.
Fucked, you know.
I mean, it's just bonkers. I mean, look, 3 up, 3 down in the lower leagues. I think if you finish 3rd in the Championship, you deserve to go. That's your to finish 3rd. You should be rewarded with an automatic playoff final place.
It's great, though, isn't it, DJ?
And then the teams below you play to see who goes in that final with you. That's what I think, anyway.
You know what's happening is that
it's unfair on Millwall.
I know, the Football League and the FA are so greedy because you think about it, they actually want to increase more, give more places and have more playoff games. So the team that finishes, it could go down to 7th or 8th place now, which means there's more games. The season, more money for the Football League. And then Wembley don't care because everything's got to be at Wembley these days.
Yeah. We're getting money through the door.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I was shocked last year where I must have been in a coma. I didn't realise that influencers can hire Wembley, sidemen, whatever they call them, sort of wide men or
they've been running. No, you got it right first time.
They sidemen with fat boys, whatever they call themselves. They hired Wembley. And they packed it out with 90,000 fans.
Yeah. No, because they're like celebs, basically. Like they got religious communities.
Some of the guys, I was watching some of the guys play
like
football.
They're all the people that go, Kenny. Who are the stupid ones?
There was one guy who took a free kick, and the goalkeeper went like that, and he went in the back of the net.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's
who I look at. I look at the people that
that.
actually go and pay and watch it. Who are the stupid ones? Because I wouldn't be paying to go and watch it.
DJ, they packed it with 900.
They packed it out. They've done it a couple of years.
I know.
They might even get more people
influencers. They're going to be at the Champions League final. While me and you ain't going to get a ticket.
Oh, a million %. It's like what Treep says. It's like when we were rubbish, I never saw a lot of you here. Now we're good. Everyone's here, innit? And no shade, the game's the game. But
yeah, I've been an Arsenal fan since 2018. We'll be at the Champions League.
But then the champion, it comes back to what you lot saying about the